All right, folks. Not nobody here physically, but some people online. So there's an interesting article in The Economist. The United States is increasingly hostile to all immigrants, and you're going to block Chinese students coming in. And this makes an argument that that's a very unwise thing to do because the Chinese students are very knowledgeable and they contribute a lot to America, and a lot of them stay in America, and that benefits us. It's an interesting argument. And of course, one of the complications is that even though the MAGA movement was going to block all immigrants, recently Trump reversed course and said he wants to let in 600,000 Chinese immigrants because they need it to pay for the colleges. And that's part of the reason why a lot of MAGA stalwarts like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Laura Loomer have complained, saying this is not what Trump promised. So as usual, it is not clear whether we're going to actually let them in or not. Trump changes his mind on everything every couple of days, so it's not clear. But anyway, there's a lot of evidence that a whole lot of people that were planning to come to America for education from foreign lands are deciding not to, which I certainly can understand, since Trump goes crazy every few days and decides to deport another bunch of people, and they arrest them with ICE and such and lock them up in nasty places. It's probably an unwise plan to come to America. And since they've cut funding for education and scientific research, it's probably a lot less valuable to come here. We're going to fall behind Europe and other nations in the quality of our education. So it's probably American degree is probably of less value than it used to be. So the American murder of people in the Venezuelan waters, they've changed their story several times here. First, Trump said Pete never gave the order, that never happened. Then it was Pete's Prouty gave the order and wanted to kill all those people, and Prouty did it. Then he found out it's illegal, which, by the way, shows that he apparently learned nothing in his military training, because this is apparently the first class you take, or an early class, in military education, is to go through the Code of Uniform Justice. And the example given in the official textbook is, suppose you have survivors of a shipwreck, you're not allowed to shoot them. It's the classic example of someone who is no longer a threat, and therefore you take them alive. You're supposed to take prisoners, even in times of war, once somebody is no longer a threat. And everything we're doing in Venezuela is illegal because we don't have a declaration of war, so it's not even a war crime, it's just murder. But anyway, even if it were a war, this would still be a crime. And so now Hegseth is saying he didn't give the order, so this is a way of throwing the admiral or the captain or whoever it is below him that did it under the bus, which is the most likely thing to do. Trump will pretend it wasn't his fault, Hegseth will pretend it wasn't his fault, and the actual captain of the boat will go down for it, which is what you usually do when a scandal is used. Have a sacrifice lower in the food chain so the people on top can pretend they didn't know about it. So there's a bill proposed to protect American infrastructure from cyber attacks, which would be interesting. It's supposed to create a unified federal process to attribute cyber actors. This might be interesting. It's hard to say. It's essentially what the CISA used to do under Biden and may possibly be doing under Trump, although so far the CISA seems to have been pretty much cut. But anyway, this would be a federal agency to determine who's attacking us from foreign military and foreign nations, and then create a framework to define how you attribute it, and then sanction the people. So we've been doing this already without an official government body involved, and I guess it would sort of formalize this process. We'll see if this goes anywhere. So half the U.S. now has age gating for porn, which is something a lot of states want. I think the next thing a lot of people are pushing for is age gating social networks. And when they did this in Britain, which they did recently, they found out that everybody just uses VPNs, so now they want to age gate VPNs. And so we'll see. I mean, one thing, of course, for technical people like you and I, this is all ridiculous because it's trivial to get around these things. And I think probably teenagers will be the most inventive at getting around them, so it's not quite clear how valuable this will be. But anyway, it's happening. It's a thing to be aware of. It's becoming the modern trend on the internet to age gate things. And the one thing that these guys are concerned about, of course, is that means that some service is going to have a huge database of ID cards and videos and stuff, biometric information that people have submitted to try to prove that they're over 18. And they will probably get hacked and lose that data, and it may lead to other consequences. So vibe coding is out there, and here's another example. Now, I haven't tried this, but apparently if you get Google Anti-Gravity, it's one of the vibe coding frameworks, and you can choose to turn on a feature where you will ask it to do something that will just immediately execute it without requiring you to approve it. And this guy didn't know much about coding, so he turned that on, and then it deleted his entire D drive, thinking it was trying to write software to process pictures so he could label them. And it wanted to clear some room in some cache, and it just deleted the whole D drive, and it's apologizing. And so people are arguing about whose fault this is, but it certainly is true that these agentic AI platforms are very dangerous, not only from this, that they may just violate your orders and do terrible things, which they do, but also they will accept orders that didn't come from you. They don't know the difference between orders that came from you and orders that came in on a web page or email. So if someone can just send you a malicious email with instructions to the AI, and when it reads that, it may execute those orders as if they came from you. One of the many reasons why the American stock market is on very shaky grounds, because the entire American economy is a bet on AI, that soon, like within a year, AI will have something so incredibly valuable it'll make $1 trillion in profit quickly. It'll have to be as awesome as the iPhone, and so far, there's nothing that anybody wants to pay for in any significant quantity. I just know some professional coders are actually paying $200 a month for a professional vibe coding tool, coding assistant tool, but I think most of us are not paying anything for AI. We're just using the free products and not terribly impressed with them and not terribly anxious to pay more to get a higher quality free product. And the AI developers seem to have kind of hit a wall where the thing is not really getting a lot better, and it would really have to get something like 10 times better before it's going to make something that could possibly justify the investment being put into it. So Elon Musk has stated something somewhat incoherently, but this is a fundamental ethical principle. And his fundamental ethical principle of Elon Musk is what he calls effective altruism. And what that means is the most important thing is to get humans off this planet and colonize Mars. And therefore, colonizing Mars is more important than the lives of all humans today. So it is the ethical thing to do to take money from the poor and kill them in the modern world, because those people don't matter. What matters is the people in the future, 5,000 years from now, that will live on Mars. And this is the war on empathy. This is something that he has stated, and Peter Thiel and the other people from the Silicon Valley Tech Bros, and therefore J.D. Vance and the presidential team, that empathy is a mistake in the human race. They say it's like a virus. This idea that we actually care about other people is a terrible thing that's holding us back. We should just trample on the little people. Now, this is the way things used to be. We used to have nobility, who were few in number, who just regarded all the people who were not nobility as just basically cattle for them to trample and exploit. And that's what the Silicon Valley Tech Bros want to go back to, and that's what Trump's MAGA movement wants to go back to. They've stated it quite clearly. They want to create neo-feudalism, where each of us will live in company towns under the thumb of a tech bro who is a superior being like Elon Musk, and we will just do whatever he tells us to do. And that will lead to glorious human advancement. We'll get to go to Mars. And anyway, this Allie Beth Stuckley is one of the people that pushed this. And her thing is to somehow say that this is a Christian point of view, which is a bit of a stretch. But Trump also has a Christian spiritual advisor in the prosperity gospel thing. This is a form of Christianity that keeps coming back, that says it's really great to be rich, it's really great to trample on the poor. Two things that are kind of hard to square with the Jesus in the Bible, but they do preach this stuff, and that's the theory. And this is this is an ethical framework that could be consistent, where you say all that really matters is the monumental accomplishments of the leaders of the world. A monumental ballroom they might build, or a rocket ship or something, and that's more important than, say, feeding the poor and distributing medicine to the poor, because little people don't matter. What matters is the big people on top, like the billionaires. That's certainly the modern Republican Party. So DeepSeek, The Chinese thinking AI model that rocked American AI companies when it came out has now made another version, which they say is very good and again totally free. I'd like to install this and run it. I just saw this morning. I've got the old model of DeepSeek, the small version of it, running locally on my machine, and I'd like to run the new one. The old one has its limitations, although the thing about it is it runs very fast and was developed very cheaply. So that may be good. I'd like to play with the new ones. That they have benchmarks claiming that the new ones are as good as the industry-leading ones for OpenAI and such. And students are flocking to AI majors, which certainly makes sense. I'm teaching at San Jose State next semester, and I was looking over their courses, and they have like 5 AI courses in what I think is a graduate program. So I think you can get a graduate degree in AI there, which is probably a pretty good idea. It's the hot thing. I'm going to be teaching an AI course at City College San Francisco next semester, and certainly more people are moving into this. It's arguably, I can see it would be more attractive than computer science. Right now, a lot of people believe that computer programming, anyway, is going to vanish as a profession, be replaced by vibe coding from AI. We'll see. Like I say, everything in America is a bet that AI is going to get much better than it is now. And then a whole bunch of jobs will be gone, all be done by AI. We'll see how much that really happens. I'm pretty skeptical. And so an AI model has been trained on prison phone calls, and now it's going to try to detect the phone calls that indicate crimes are being planned. And in this case, people worry about the data that AI trains on that they stole, but in prison, you have to agree to let them monitor your call, so they can probably interpret that as you agree to letting an AI be trained on your call, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's all the news I had to show you